Honestly, who is making the decisions at Tom Ford? Who is it? Electric Cherry and Cherry Smoke. Hi, how are you? I'm Robin, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. This little world right here is soon to be a very cherry environment. This is Man from Self. If you like hair product reviews, grooming, skincare, and fragrance, lots of fragrance, then please do hit subscribe. Right, I feel like I need to have like a written statement on this. It almost feels like I've gone through a very messy breakup. Bit of a spoiler alert for what's coming up, but this is a review of two new fragrances from Tom Ford, Electric Cherry and Cherry Smoke. I'm very much building on the success, do we call that? The success of Lost Cherry, which came out in 2018. Tom Ford, let's just give you a bit of a preface. I will give you like chapter markers, so if you get bored of me or you're just like, this guy, seriously, or you want to reverse and watch again, then be my guest. Tom Ford, I love Tom Ford. Tom Ford was one of the first fragrance brands that I fell in love with. I've been on YouTube for 10 years as of April. Happy birthday to me. And I remember receiving my first ever Tom Ford fragrance from the brand after having bought one. I just was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And Tom Ford has always been at the forefront of really bringing these beautiful niche, like it was niche fragrances, niche ingredients, really kind of also making ouds very accessible. These days, as I said before, I don't know who's making these decisions, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so Lost Cherry was a fragrance that I gave 3 out of 5 on manfromself.com. I should say there are some 5-star Tom Ford reviews on there. I love Oud Wood, Oud Mineral, Plum Japonaise, which has been discontinued. Tobacco Vanille is still one of my absolute go-tos. I think when Tom Ford does it right, I'm saying they because it's owned by the Estee Lauder companies, they, not Tom. How much is Tom actually involved? Probably not at all, and probably, hey Tom, it's probably a good thing these days that you're not involved. But I do love Tom Ford. But most recently, I think Tom Ford has lost their way. They've lost their way because it feels like the whole art around fragrance has been lost. It feels like it is just trying to be a commercial mass market brand. A mass market brand at some incredible prices, incredibly bad prices. These new fragrances are £280. £280 for 50 mils. Do you have that? You might have that. I certainly don't. So much so that I bought little 2ml vials, which are, and I have checked, these are exactly as they are. They are from a good source. I have got the Electric Cherry and this Cherry Smoke. I received this one, Lost Cherry, from the PR team. I'm most definitely off the PR list. I think as of maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, I asked about one of the new launches and I was told that they were disappointed with some of the coverage I gave. That's because there was 2 5-star reviews, a 4-star and 2 3-star. If that's the way you want to do it, then cool. Reviews are reviews and they are very much a personal opinion. Fragrance is always subjective. Don't just listen to me, get yourself into store. This is out in Selfridges, it's out in Brown Thomas. It's also in the Tom Ford store in the boutique in Covent Garden, and I'm sure they've got it in the US too. It will be nationwide from the 13th of March, 2023. So get in, but this is just my opinion, okay? But if that's the way that we go, then cool. So I bought these myself. Now, this builds on the success of the original Tom Ford Lost Cherry. Lost Cherry is like a Bakewell tart. You've got this instant cherry pop and this kick. I remember when I first smelt it, I was thinking, do I like this? Like, what is going on here? I found it a little sickly sweet, and I found it maybe just like a little too whimsical. I think then I kind of took it for what it was, which is fun, fruity, with quite a smoky dry down. And actually, I've grown to like it. I certainly don't love it, but I quite like it. And I think it very much sort of sits in quite a nice world in Tom Ford. Tom Ford, who's kind of going for the shock marketing. We've got Lost Cherry, obviously building on Losing Your Virginity. Great, are we still doing this? We've got Fucking Fabulous. I mean, you've had to star it out in certain places because it can't sell. We've had other things, Peach something, Peach whatever it is. And so they are about this kind of like, oh, wow, shock. And I quite like this, but didn't love it. Now, fast forward 2018, 2019, 5 years, and we've got these two new ones. Now, what I would say about these is £280, 50 mils. Cherry Smoke. Now, I have been wearing this on my left wrist and I've got Electric Cherry on my right. I've also done the dry downs. I think what's interesting about Cherry Smoke is it's probably the closest to Lost Cherry. We've got quite a boozy, gourmand cherry, which makes me think of, whenever I've been wearing this, I've been thinking of wearing quite a sort of brandy cherry fragrance, and I've gone out to a bonfire and I've been stewed with a really peaty whiskey, something really quite heavy. It was my favorite type of whiskey, you know, stuff that just hits you on the back of the throat, shoots up your nose, and you're a bit like, do I like this, don't I like this? And you're sort of sipping on this whiskey and you're stood next to a bonfire in a gorgeous, really thick woolen jumper that's just holding on to all this smoke that's coming out. You're having a great evening with friends. There's a slight chill on the air. But the next morning, you can smell both your fragrance, you can smell a bit of the booze, and you can also smell that bonfire. That's exactly what I get from this. So I quite like this initially. What you do find is that when it starts to dry down, you've got less of the, I've got mine here, you've got less of the smoke and more of the cherry. And then by about I was wearing it again last night and I was making a note of the timings, about 3.5 to 4 hours on, you've actually got something which is quite fruity. So not a lot of smoke, not a lot of cherry, but quite a soft fruit. The sillage, so the projection of this, I think is moderate. It's certainly not £280 of, wow, what are you wearing? And the longevity of it is kind of fine. But for £280, I want you hanging around me. You know, I want you there. I want one spray and it's going to last for absolutely ever. So Cherry Smoke, kind of fine. But it's certainly not £280 worth of wow, as I just said. With Electric Cherry, I think what's, can I say interesting? Keep it factual, Robin. I think with this one, this is more like a fruity floral. There's a I don't get much cherry in this at all, nor do I think it's electric. There is ginger in this, so you should have that sort of effervescent, spicy, lively, very fresh. I don't get that so much. There's also a pink pepper in the base, so really you should have something which I always think with pink pepper, you've got that, pepper can feel quite hard sometimes, and I think it can really cut through certain fragrances. But with a pink, you almost just blanket it just ever so slightly and adds a slight sweetness to it. There's a white floralness, there's jasmine sambac, and I do get a slightly white floral. I get something quite fresh and open, something that feels quite flirty, something feels quite whimsical. But I guarantee the next time you're on an EasyJet flight and someone comes down with a trolley and says, hi, we've got a 2-for-1, or this fragrance is now €20, do you want to try it? This is what you're smelling. This feels mass market, it feels cheap, it certainly doesn't feel, again, £280, and it feels like the kind of thing that you can quite easily pick up in your local Boots or your Superdrug. And there is nothing wrong with that, let's be clear. I am not a fragrance snob. I think there are some great fragrances, and fragrance should be inclusive, and fragrance should be fun, and fragrance should be an art, and fragrance should be about expressing who you want to be. And these fun, flirty, kind of girly, just sort of easygoing fragrances, there's nothing wrong with that, should be a thing. But this is not what a Tom Ford fragrance should be to me. I think Tom Ford should be elevated. And if they're going to do this, then certainly put it into the signature. Signature, we're looking at the Black Orchid, the Black Orchid Parfum in the gold bottle. Gorgeous, fun, really fortified. We're looking at Ombre Leather. We're looking at Beau de Jour. All of those came out of the private blend and moved into this signature, which are still fairly expensive. I think we've got Ombre Leather, I want to say around about the £100 mark, 120, I think it even goes up slightly. But I think it's a great fragrance. You've actually got, I think, hints of Ombre Leather within the Cherry Smoke. I think quite often of fragrance and colour. And with the fragrance Cherry Smoke, I get these facets of purple, I get the soft leather, there's Nagarmatha in that, so you've got these sort of leathery tones. But I just think those signature ones are far better. This has been a bit of a jump around, but basically what I'm saying, from my written statement here is, I think I'm going on a hiatus with Tom Ford. Tom, seriously, you are better than this. You are far better than this. And if anyone from the team is watching this, seriously, what's going on? What is going on? Get back to what is good. Get creating. Have the fun with the fragrance, but create something that is worth the £280, honestly. But thank you for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I've kind of jumped around in the right sort of way. In terms of like a rating, I would say the Electric Cherry is kind of like a 2.5 to a 3 out of 5, which even I think is generous, and the Cherry Smoke is maybe a 3 at best. If you've got £280, don't bother. Seriously, send it to me. I will do something with the money. And there are better fragrances out there. But thank you very much for watching. Really hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, and still wondering who I am, then hey, I'm Robin. I'm sat here talking to you about cherry fragrances that just aren't great. Please do press subscribe right now. Also, check out my fragrance reviews on YouTube and also on manfromself.com, my website. But until my next new video, bye-bye.